What is up, guys? It is Bucky, and welcome to just a random little project I thought you guys would enjoy. Today I'm going to show you how to make it look like a house is burning with After Effects, and also I'm using Andrew Kramer's from Video Copilot Action Movie Essentials. He has some nice things like bullet holes, blood splatters. I'm going to be using a smoke thing to make it look like this smoke coming from the window. So what I did is I already have a project set up, or excuse me, footage, and it's right now it's 1080 high def, and I want to switch it to 720. So a lot of people ask this. In order to do it, you need to go ahead and change your composition settings. What you do is composition settings, then click unlock aspect ratio, then put 1280 by 720. That's a 720 high def. So now your composition is that, but your footage is still 1080. So what you need to do is select it on the timeline and click layer, transform, or excuse me, layer, transform, fit to comp. There we go, right there. So then your footage becomes perfectly 720 high def. So now we got this footage of this house just chilling here, and you see, if you go ahead and here's my little smoke thing right here, you can go ahead and drag it right there and go ahead, you're good to go. But if you notice that I didn't use a tripod when I was doing this, and my camera was kind of shaky because I was kind of moving around. So we need to set up a motion tracker, and what this is going to allow us to do is to track this fire exactly by the window. So let me just play this one more time for you. You see that the fire's staying in one place and the house is kind of moving around, not the effect we're going for. So in order to do this, here's what you need to do first of all. You need to click Layer, New, Null Object. And this is the object that's going to hold the tracking data. So now after this, go ahead and select the house footage right here, and then go ahead and click Track Motion. Now from here, go ahead and grab this little, I always mess up when I'm grabbing it, right, this little track motion box, and go ahead and set the point to someplace with high contrast. I'm going to set it on the corner of a window that's black and white, right like that. And remember, we don't have to track this whole footage. This is 30 seconds long because the smoke is only 8 seconds long, so we only need to track it to the length of that, probably 10 seconds. So go ahead, and once you got your little tracking point, go ahead and extend that, and that's probably good right there. So go ahead and press play, and as you can see, your point's going to begin to track, and you can stop it as soon as it gets to about 10 seconds probably. So let's watch it. It looks like it's a good track so far, and now go ahead and press stop. That's enough data for us. So now what we need to do, once we have that tracking, and make sure you don't have any weird keyframes all over, go ahead and click edit target. Now we want to set it to null 1 because we want the tracking data to apply to our null object. So go ahead and click OK, and then you're going to need to click apply and set it to X and Y. So now you have this null object if you minimize these, and you can look and see all the keyframes that it made, and they applied it to the null object. So now what we need to do is, if we have our little smoke thing on the screen right here, what we need to do is parent this to the null object. So go ahead and under your parent tab, click null 1. So now your smoke is going to follow that window just like that. How awesome is that? So what we want to do now is probably zoom in, move this, somewhere over there. Maybe we can make it grow a little bit and move it a little bit better, right, like that. And now you see, since we put that tracking data, even though my camera is shaking, that fire is staying right on there. So I see one problem with this fire already, and that's that it's kind of thick, and smoke isn't usually that thick. So what we're going to do is go ahead under your smoke movie and go ahead and lower the opacity just a little bit. And make sure you don't press any keyframes, because if you lower the opacity without keyframes, it lowers it for the entire movie. So let's go ahead and see what looks good. Maybe somewhere around 90, because that way the smoke becomes kind of transparent and you can usually see through smoke a little bit. So now we can see through the trees a little bit, and that's kind of the effect we're going for. And aside from this, the one other thing I want to notice is that this smoke, you see the edges on it, they are really defined. And smoke isn't really usually that fine. It kind of fades out on the edges, kind of a little gradient. So what we want to do is highlight our smoke layer and go ahead and click Effect and Blur and Sharpen, and might as well go to Gaussian Blur, or however you say it. It's not important how you say it, it's just important how you use it. So now let's see what looks good for blurriness. Let's go ahead and turn this up to 3. 3.5 looks pretty natural on mine, but I guess it depends on the size of your fire. So now let's scroll out and we see our final project. So remember, the two things you want to do to the smoke is lower the opacity and also put a blur effect on it. So let's go ahead and watch this play. And now you see our smoke follows our house perfectly opaque, and also the nice amount of blurriness on it. So there are a couple things you might want to do with this, like color correct the house, play with levels a little bit, but for the basics, this is pretty good. So thank you guys for watching. Now you know how to catch a house on fire without using matches. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.